Dear God, I thank you for giving me this opportunity to deliver another message from you, God. I just ask that you just take over in this service, God. Just let me say what you want me to say, and let the person who you wanted to hear it. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Good morning, one and all. Today I want to speak briefly on the topic, let God guide you. There are two scriptures we will look at today. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 21, and Philippians chapter 2, verse 12 and 13. As you have already heard over the past few weeks, our theme starting this quarter is positioned for purpose. The word positioned means to put or arrange someone or something in a particular place or way. And purpose means the reason for which something is done or created, or the reason for which something exists. We can add to our theme to better convey its true meaning by saying we are positioned for God's purpose for our lives. In this sense, what we are saying is that we have been put in a specific place or role. We have been arranged in a specific way by God to act on the reason that God has created us in the first place. We are positioned for purpose. We are to be placed in our roles by God and God alone. If we look at our first scripture, it reads, so this is Proverbs 19, verse 21. It says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." It's only one sentence, but it says quite a lot. So let's look at the first half. There are many plans in a person's heart. How many of us have made our own plans without first consulting with God, or without having a sign from God that it was His will for us? Now, I'm not talking about planning to go to tea or something like that. I'm talking about big choices and major decisions in our lives. Have you ever been part of the planning for an event here at the church without making God the head of the plan? Have any of us been jealous of another because they were in a position we thought that we ourselves should be in? This could be a job position, a monetary position, a church ministry position. They may hold a title that we think we should have. Was your desire to be in that position because God wanted you to be there, or because you wanted yourself to be there? Maybe we are aware of God's purpose for our lives, but we run in the opposite direction like Jonah did, and we try to do our own thing. Instead of acting where God has positioned us, we move according to what we think and what we want. As humans, our minds go in all sorts of directions. And without keeping God as our center and keeping our focus on Him, we will be consumed by these thoughts, and they will cloud our judgment and perception. New ideas, new plans, structured thinking, these are instrumental to our Christian growth, but only if God is the lead author of those plans and ideas. The second half of the verse says that God's purpose will prevail. We need to learn to set our sides aside. Let me say that again. We need to learn to set ourselves aside and let God guide us. Not sometimes, but all the time. It is often the case that we regress back into our old ways, even when we do realize God's purpose for our lives. If there are two things we waste too much time doing, it's fighting amongst each other and fighting against God's will. We may have our own plans, or we may think that we know what our purpose is, but the Word says that it is the Lord's purpose which will prevail. Let God guide you as you go forward, and through His guidance, make His plan your purpose. It is often said that church life is messy because our lives outside the church are also messy. Define messy however you see it. Pointless drama, holding a grudge because somebody wronged you 20 years ago, church politics. Basically, I'm talking about the things that are not of God that go on inside the church. And that includes the church in the sense of the building and the church in the sense of us. This says to me that we are not living according to the purpose God has positioned us for. Why is it even possible to bring this so-called mess of our daily lives into the church? Why are we separating ourselves between who we are in the world and who we are in the church? This distinction shows that we are aware and that we are choosing to divide ourselves between our church persona and our worldly persona. Our church life on Sunday morning and our daily life for the other 6 days. By doing this, we are removing God from our daily lives. If we do not have God as our guide throughout every aspect of our lives, we can easily lose track of what His purpose is for our lives. We can't just have God at the center. Let me say that again. We can't just have God at our center for only an hour on Sunday morning and then go on our own way for the rest of the week. Let God guide you in all things you do, so that you can live every day according to the position He has placed you in, for the purpose He has assigned to you. Looking at our second scripture, which is Philippians chapter 2, verses 12 and 13. It says, "Therefore, my dear friends, as you have always obeyed, not only in my presence, but now much more in my absence, continue to work out your salvation with fear and trembling. For it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill His good purpose." This passage tells us that it is God who works within us so that we may fulfill His purpose for our lives. God has not randomly placed us somewhere and given us a task willy-nilly. He has positioned each one of us for a distinct and meaningful purpose. Remember, to position something is to put it where it is for a reason. We don't have to figure out what our purpose is on our own and then work by ourselves to fulfill our purpose. We need to let go of ourselves and let God guide us to where He wants us to be. Never mind worrying about being the head of the committee so you can let your name be known and have your name listed here and there. Never mind worrying about being called the chair or the president of this group or that ministry so that everyone knows you were in charge. Never mind worrying that you don't have as much money as you think so-and-so has. Never mind thinking you don't have as much of an impact on the world as the person next to you does. God has positioned each one of us with a purpose, something that only we can do. Wherever God has placed you in your life, and with whatever task God has given to you, do it, and do it with the best of your ability, with His help. I think it's time that we stop looking down all the time. Stop looking down on ourselves, and stop looking down on each other. We should be empowered by the knowledge that God has a purpose for our lives, and that He positions us exactly where we need to be to live out that purpose. With God as our guide, we are able to accomplish all that God has in store for us. All we have to do is put our faith and trust in Him. Finally, some tips for understanding and living out our purpose, which has been given to us by God. Number 1, we need to walk with God. As we said earlier, God is working within us, so we need to be aware of this and have an active relationship with Him. We are not alone in this journey. There is no need to try and force ourselves to do anything by ourselves. God is our guide. Let Him guide you to where He wants you to be. Number 2, surrender yourself to God. God is not going to force us to live according to the purpose He has assigned us. We're given a choice. We have to let go of the idea that we are in control and that God is the one who works for us. Let God use you to His glory, not your own. Don't act so that you can chase accolades and praise. Let God use you, and His prize will be the greatest of all. And third, seek godly input. Don't be scared to ask God for help. Prayer is our most powerful tool. But what good is it if we don't use it? Whenever you are stuck, ask God for guidance. But also, be receptive to how He provides that guidance. He might speak directly to you. Or it might come by way of a helpful tip from somebody you don't always get along with or agree with. Don't miss out on what God says because of the messenger He sends to you. I'll leave you by simply saying this. God has positioned each and every one of us with a specific purpose for our lives. And in order for us to fulfill that purpose, we have to know who God is, have an intimate relationship with him, surrender ourselves so that God can use us to his glory, know how to pray and ask for guidance, and make God the center of all aspects in our lives. We are not to chase after accolades and praise, work only to hold titles, go off and do our own thing because we think we know better, or think that we are all alone in this journey. Let God guide you, and the way forward will become clear. Amen.